Hello, I'm Leona Dooley, and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme in the kitchen. Today in the kitchen, we are going to prepare a chicken with rice. Oh, I love it. And it was my brother-in-law's favorite meal. And actually, we love it too. We're also going to prepare some biscuits because when you have chicken with rice, you have a creamy gravy that goes along with it. And what goes well with biscuits? Gravy. Now, we're going to probably take a look at something else. So, I haven't decided what that's going to be, but guess what? We're in the kitchen and we're going to be doing all kinds of fun things today. And I'm going to take you right along with me. So stay right there because you won't want to miss a second. All right? Okay, guys, we're going to make some biscuits, and I am going to put in, I'm going to be using self-rising flour for this, and I'm going to ladle out 2 cups of flour. 2 cups of flour. Now this scoop is a 1 cup scoop, so that's 1. And that's 2, and we need about half, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball the half. There we go, and a half. All right, we got that in there. Now the good thing about self-rising flour is that we won't have to add all the baking soda and all that good stuff. All that's already in there. I'm going to put the top on the flour and kind of get that out of your way. Okay. I'm also going to need a little bit of, I'm going to use shortening today. This is a vegetable shortening. And I'm going to add in, use my fork, 1 tablespoon. Really comes out to about a tablespoon per cup, and then the half is going to actually be some butter. I'm just going to, and it's cold. So let me see, I may decide to just grate that part up. So we'll see. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, this is what they call a fork, and it really is just strictly for making biscuits, to be honest with you. But and not really, it's for making pies. But this fork is wonderful because it allows me to break up my shortening or butter, whichever it is. And when I thought about butter, putting the additional butter in, the butter was cold. So I'm breaking it up. I'll go ahead and add, and I just won't put the butter in. I'll do the butter at the end. All right, so we've got that in. So we're going to use shortening. This is Crisco. Okay, that's all broken up into a nice, and it tells you to always make sure that your shortening and your flour are mixed until you get to like little peas or little pieces, and that's what we're doing. We're just breaking that shortening up so it spreads throughout our biscuits. I'm going to have to wash my hands because they've gotten slippery. Now, I'm going to add in about a half teaspoon of salt. Just put a little bit, not a half teaspoon, just because it has a little bit of salt, but sometimes it needs a little extra. Now, some people put sugar in theirs, and you can certainly do that. I am a sugar girl, so you know, if I have an opportunity to add a little bit, it's going to go in there as well. So we're going to put in just a smidget of sugar, 1 teaspoon. Okay. So there's our sugar, we've got our flour, and now it's time for the main event. And we make a well in the center, and then we're going to start to add our buttermilk. Now I'm going to fill up my 1 cup container, and we're not going to just throw a cup in, but we're going to start with a cup, look at the texture, and get it to what we need. And when everything pulls away from the sides of the this bowl, then we know it's ready. All right, so we're starting with 1 cup, and we certainly may need a little more, but for now, that's enough. All right, we're putting all that away. Put that out to the side. I don't think we're going to need to measure anything else, so let's get to it. All right, so we're starting to put in our buttermilk. We've added about half of it. I already know that's not enough, but that's enough to get us started. So we're going to start right here in the middle using our blending fork. And there's our timer. So we're going to stop for just a minute because we need to stop those eggs. Okay, so I took the eggs off the fire, and they are going to cool off just a little bit so I can handle them. Now I am working with our biscuits, and I've added in, I'm going to go ahead and add in the rest of that 1st cup. And this is buttermilk that we're using. So we're going to have some good buttermilk biscuits. Now it's still pretty dry, so I know I'm going to need a little more. I'm going to do another cup. And the only reason I'm using a measuring cup is really for your benefit. Okay, that's about half, so that's 1.5 cups. Just a little bit more. And we're going to add just a smidget more. Kind of adding it around the edges. So that was 2 cups. Okay, now I am going to turn this out onto my board here, Move this out of the way. Let me get everything moved aside. So we can make some biscuits. That's just extra flour. Just kind of in my cleanup bowl. Okay, I'm going to get a sifter. And using my sifter, because I want to make sure I don't have any lumps, I'm going to sift just a little bit of flour out. Now I think what I'll do is actually use my spoon and put about 1/4 cup into the sifter gently. Now the good thing about the sifter, I'm going to put a little bit over that, and then I'm going to sift some out on the board. And I'll just have that there in case I need it. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn all of this out onto the board. There we go. Now it's time to have some fun. So we're going to sift a little bit over it. Take that off. And I'm going to put that off to the side because we're not going to be blending anymore. Sift as you go. Fold it over. Till it all comes together. Now we don't want to over mix it because we want these biscuits to be very tender, but we do want them to hold together, okay? Pick it up. Have to work with it. Yeah, you would much rather take a moment, fix your family some biscuits or whatever it is that they like, rather than having them eat things that you aren't quite sure of what's in there. When things start to last on the shelf way too long, then you know that's a concern, because there has to be some preservatives involved somewhere. Okay. Now, I'm going to let this sit right here while I get my rolling pin. we go. So it's time to start cutting. Cut some biscuits. Rinse my hands. Now, the big guy is going to use these for sandwiches, breakfast sandwiches. And so while we want them to be a nice size, and we don't want little mini biscuits, we don't want them too terribly large. So let's get our pan. I'm taking just a little bit of the lard that we used, and I'm going to rub it all over this pan. Because we do not want these to stick. And it shouldn't in this pan, to be honest with you. But, just in case, we're going to make sure it doesn't. Okay, check, pan's ready. So there we go. Let's get our biscuits on the pan. Not quite sure how many we're going to end up with, but you know what? We'll do what we have to do. I think I have enough here for one kind of chunky one, maybe two. I can squeeze in, but I don't want to squeeze them too much. All right, let's put those all together. Let's go. There's one. That gives us exactly 12. See if I can squeeze in another number 13. I might be able to do that. It might work. And number 13. There we go. He won't be the prettiest one, but you know what? In the end, it won't matter. All right, so there he is. He's on the pan. I have them all on my pan. Now, the last thing I'm going to do, well, let me get kind of some of this. Let me get some of this up with the scraper. Dollar Tree Betty Crocker bench scraper cleans up the area well. Bring this pan over and get it to where you can see it. Bring our trash container over. Scrape all the extras. For $1, well worth the value. Gets all the goodies up off surface. There we go. Now, I'm going to take just a little bit of buttermilk. I'm just going to put a smidget right here in our spoon. Not even a tablespoon. Put a little bit on my hand, and I'm going to brush a little bit of buttermilk on top of each one. When you're eating biscuits and you're trying to figure, there is just something good about that biscuit. You are trying to figure out what it is. Well, guess what? They have probably put just a little bit of buttermilk on top of those biscuits. All right, these babies are ready to go into the oven, and then we're going to peel those eggs. Hey, this is the pan I'm going to be baking my chicken in tonight, or chicken and rice. And, you know, I had a little butter left over from the biscuits. Oh my gosh, they are good. I'm just going to kind of spread that around in the bottom of this pan. Just about a tablespoon. The reason for this kind of help with the sticking, and will help save a little bit on cleanup scrubs. So there we go. Plus, it's going to make it taste good. Now, in this bowl, and I've got several containers going here because I'm in the middle of making some dish to go, a drink to go with our dinner tonight. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's focus. I need to focus. All right, we need some onion, and I have a container of onion. I'm going to put in couple handfuls of our cut up onion. It's always good to have because it just adds that level of flavor that you want. So there we go. We've got our onion. Now I am going to, this particular chicken and rice dish, I know you're thinking it's just going to be chicken and rice. Well, not exactly. My chicken and rice dish is a combination of a green bean casserole and chicken and rice. So I'm going to make our mixture that I'm going to pour over the chicken and rice and the green beans. So it's kind of a one, I've been doing this dish for years, but it really is a one-pan meal, and I just love it. I used to come home from work, I could put this together, and by dinner time, we have a hot, bubbling pan of food. Everybody was happy, everybody was full, and most of the time there was very little left over. And I want you to watch what I'm going to do. So we've got our cream of mushroom soup in there. We've got our onion in there. Now we need some chicken broth. Let me get that. All right, now we need chicken broth. And I am adding in about 4 cups of chicken broth. Maybe just a tiny bit more, because you know you need liquid for the rice and you need liquid for a little bit of gravy. We want the rice to have a little gravy to that goes around it. So there's our, I'm just going to give that a minute. Using my knife not to, so as not to have to dirty up anything else. Now I'm going to put in 2 cups of rice. Now I'm going to add in just a couple of dashes of Worcestershire sauce. of Worcestershire sauce. So we're going to put in 2 capfuls, maybe 3. 1, you saw that, right? 2. So about 2 caps of Worcestershire sauce. Rinse that off. Okay. Mix that up, because you want this to be very flavorful. Now we need some house seasoning. And I'm going to sprinkle a good bit of house seasoning. Because remember, it's flavoring the rice, it's flavoring the green beans. All these guys are going to be in this pool. Now I'm not going to add any butter. Sometimes I would add in some melted butter, but I'm not going to do that because I put the butter in the bottom. All right. I'm even adding, I've got mushrooms, green beans, and now we need some rice. Now before I continue on, I want to show you my rice. Remember way back when the pandemic started, or at least we were aware of it. We were shopping, and needless to say, we needed to find all the things that we could. Well, I placed an order. I got a 20-pound bag of rice. So I'm going to take some of that rice. You know, I keep it in the freezer. And I'm going to take that rice. I'm going to put 2 cups of it. There's 1, and yes, this measures out to 1 cup. I'm going to spread it in the bottom, and 2, and put it in the bottom. Okay, there's our rice. Now this will go back into the freezer until needed, because that's where it stays, in the freezer. In the freezer. Okay, so in our pan, I've placed in the rice. All right, we're going to open up our green beans. We've got some little French green beans, or verts, as I like to call them. Give them a little rinse. And I'm going to spread them over the pan. These are so delicate. You notice I don't even worry about cutting the tops off because they're going to be good. Now, if you want to cut the tops off, that's fine. I don't. Good roughage. Our green beans are down in there. Next, going to be our mushrooms. And you know, I freeze them too. Nothing goes untouched. As my husband says, everything goes in the freezer. If he stands still long enough, he'll be in there as well. Okay, so we've got green beans, we've got rice, we've got mushrooms, and now we're going to work on the chicken. So we have 2 chicken breasts that I'm going to prepare. We probably won't, in fact I know we won't, eat all of this. But this is one of those meals I'm going to serve tonight, and we're going to have it for another night. So, I'm going to season our chicken, starting with house seasoning. And you see I'm seasoning pretty heavy. Turn it on both sides. Get the other one. There's our, now, let me rinse my hands. Okay, now I'm going to take those chicken breasts. Well, I was trying not to touch him, but I think I'm going to have to. Nestle it right there. And the other one, going to go right there. Now, actually, I'm going to kind of take it and I'm going to give it a little smush. Even if that means you have to scoop some green beans and mushrooms to get him down in there. It's okay. Get him in there. Because the green beans and mushrooms really can be, some of them can be on top. Okay. Now, I want those in. Wash, wash, wash. Okay, let's remove this. That goes to the sink. Now, disinfect everything in just a moment. Now, what I am going to do is that I'm going to take this piece of butter. I'm going to lay it, cut a couple pieces here, and have a couple pieces over there. In fact, I think what I'll do is to try to get under that skin and poke it right under there so it will stay where it needs to be. So you can see the butter in there, and I'm just kind of mashing and squishing that butter in there. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. Get under there. Put the butter in. A little squishy, squishy. And get over under the other side. Get it over there. Give it a little squishy, squishy. And now it's time for the au jus. So let me get all of this out of the way. Now, the good thing about this particular casserole is that you can prepare it in advance and then put it in the oven the last hour before dinner. It's going to take at least an hour for it to be ready. Okay, now we're going to take the juice and we're going to gently pour it over our mixture. And you're going to see it's going to be pretty full. Okay. Now, We're going to get our foil. We're going to seal it up. Now, since I'm not in a hurry, I'm going to set the oven on 350 and let her go. I'm using heavy-duty aluminum. And fuel. Okay, there we go. She's ready. Now I'm actually going to sit this on another pan. Just in case, you never know, there might be a little spillage. So let's get some foil on here. Save yourself. It's worth the foil. This is great value foil. And save yourself. Now my oven is still just a little bit warm from where I had the biscuits in. That's okay. We're not going to waste any heat. Okay, it's going in 350. And voila, our chicken, green bean, casserole is in the oven.
These are undoubtedly the most beautiful biscuits ever, and I can't wait. The pan is hot, and we are just going to enjoy these biscuits tonight, and the big guy will even have them for breakfast for whatever days he wants with his sausage and eggs and biscuits. So I'm so looking forward to that. This has been probably the most enjoyable evening or day that I've had in the kitchen for a long time. So we're just kind of zipping through. Let's take a look at this mixture. Take the top off. Oh my goodness. Look at the steam coming off that casserole. There's our chicken breast. Now, certainly I could have taken it back in and browned up the skin, but you know what? I like it just the way it is. I don't want it any other way because I don't want anything to get too crispy. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Creamy, juicy. That is just the way we like it. So, everybody's ready. The big guy's ready to eat. And we are certainly going to enjoy this chicken and rice. My chicken and rice. So there we go. It looks absolutely wonderful. Now I hope you have enjoyed this day with us. And I hope that thank you, Denise Jordan and the ladies of the Sister Circle. This has certainly been a month of a fun collaboration and a chance to share. Have a great day.